sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Minnesota.
Back at Minute Maid Park tonight for Game 2 of this series between the Twins and Astros. Houston took Game 1 last night for their 47th win here at home. Good for a tie with the Royals for the best home win percentage in the league. Talk about a tough road test for the Twins, who actually head to Kansas City right after they finish up here in Houston. Welcome inside Minute Maid Park on a beautiful Saturday night. I'm Jamie Hirsch. Baseball fans have waited a long time to see Carlos Correa and Byron Buxton on the same field in the same game at the major league level, and tonight is the night when both of those guys are in the lineup for the first time. They will forever be connected as the top two picks in the 2012 draft. The Astros selecting Correa first overall, and the Twins taking Buxton right behind him. Correa was called up in early June and made his major league debut just 6 days before Buxton. And I asked both of these young players about the other guy.
Just unbelievable, especially as a rookie. You always want to come in here and do well, and that's what he done. And he helped them win a lot of games. And just, especially coming out of our draft class, all you can be is happy for him. And just glad he's up here and competing with the best of the best.
He's a great player. I played with him in the minor leagues my first year. He had a great season. He's an unbelievable talent, and he's going to bring a lot to the table for the Minnesota Twins. He's an exciting player to watch.
Both guys say they still keep close tabs on each other, whether it's watching baseball highlights or checking box scores. They are humble and talented to boot. Should be fun to see them both playing here tonight. It is a rematch of Sunday's game on the mound with Irvin Santana and Lance McCullers facing off. They went head-to-head last Sunday at Target Field. We'll preview tonight's matchup next.
Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. The Twins have won 6 of their last 7 series. They need a couple of wins here in Houston to make it 7 out of 8. The Twins are in 1 race, the wild card race, while the Astros are in 2 races. They've led the American League West for most of the year. And good Saturday evening to you from Houston. Dick Bramer and Jack Morris for the middle game of this 3-game series. The Astros have led the American League West because they do a lot of things well. Run the bases well. They pitch well, and as they proved again last night, they can hit the ball over the fence.
They've got power, there's no question. And they're a team that hunts the fastball. They're not afraid to go up there looking for one pitch and try to hit the mistake fastball out over, and they've done a great job. They've got a bunch of guys with 10 home runs or more, and it seems like everybody in the lineup has the ability to leave this ballpark down here in Houston.
Well, the Twins now have won 6 of the last 7 series, including the series at Target Field against these 2 teams. The series finale featured Lance McCullers, a good young pitcher, against Irvin Santana, and we got a rematch of that matchup here tonight.
Yeah, and it's always a little tougher for an opponent to go back and face the same team and the same pitcher in back-to-back games. But last time out, Irvin Santana pitched a great game, probably his best game as a Minnesota Twin. He had a career-high 10 strikeouts, and you know, all of his pitches were working well. Slider, changeup, and locating his fastball. On the other side, Lance McCullers, a young guy that has got a really, really bright future. He's got some serious weapons as a right-hander, a very good fastball. You can see the depth and break of that breaking ball. And he's learning. He's going to make a few mistakes, and he's going to have periods where he's a little bit wild, but he's a good one.
Well, the Twins and Astros are both in the hunt for a playoff spot, and who knows, down the road they may be playoff opponents. Game 2 of this 3-game series between the 2 surprise teams in the American League coming up next. At a game apiece. They've lost 2 in a row. This time of the year, you don't want losing streaks to extend beyond that. It's okay to lose 2 in a row. You just don't want to have a long losing streak like the Twins put together a nice 6-game winning streak toward the end of August. Paul Molitor hoping that the Twins can get a better start from their starter tonight. As you said last night, whether the Twins can make up the ground necessary in the wild card race to get into the playoffs, it'll depend so much on the starting pitching. The Menards batting order. And for the first time, maybe a glimpse of the future, at least that's what many people think. An outfield with Hicks, Buxton, and Rosario. It's Hicks, Dozier, and Mauer in the first 3 spots, and Sano, Plouffe, and Rosario, Escobar, Suzuki, and Buxton.
Twins will be facing right-hander Lance McCullers. The 21-year-old is making his 17th start of the season. He's the second youngest pitcher in the major leagues behind Yankee right-hander Luis Severino, and he is also the first pitcher in Astros baseball history to allow 3 runs or less in 14 of his first 16 starts. He's got all the weapons. We talked about that. It's just about his command and whether or not he works ahead in the count.
Northland Ford defense for the Astros. Preston Tucker, the left fielder du jour. Carlos Gomez in center. George Springer in right. Ted Lowry, Carlos Correa, Jose Altuve, and Marwin Gonzalez. And Conger behind the plate. You mentioned his command, speaking of McCullers, and he did not have it in the very first inning last Sunday at the Target Field. He walked 3 men in the first inning, and only one of them scored. But for 5.5 innings, that was the only run in the game. That's how good he and Santana were in their starting assignments last Sunday.
Well, you bring up a great point, and it'd be up to the Twins. You know, they had chances last night again, and they've got to start capitalizing on those kind of innings where the pitcher kind of lets them have a few breaks, and then they got to take advantage of it.
Aaron Hicks will lead things off. Dozier and Mauer will follow. Paul Schreiber has plate duty. Field and Colbert, the crew chief, at first. Manny Gonzalez at second. Jim Reynolds at third. Maybe the best chance the Twins had last night to score came in the first inning. A controversial play at the plate. We'll talk more about that as we move along. Hicks just activated before the game last night on a rehab assignment with a slight hamstring strain. And he takes outside ball 1. Hicks was not in the lineup against McCullers at Target Field last Sunday. Chopper right side, fielded by Gonzalez, and McCullers at the bag. 1 down.
Saw him react to his left. He's got to get over there, and he was able to do that. Aaron Hicks runs well, but the pitcher, McCullers, good athlete himself, was able to react initially and get to first base without an issue.
Talked about this last Sunday, like his dad, Lance McCullers Sr., obviously, making his major league debut at the age of 21. 1 down, and here's Brian Dozier. That's cracked down the line, just foul. Jim Reynolds with a real good look at that hot ground ball coming right at him.
The Astros again playing Dozier shifted to the left side. 3 infielders on the left side of the diamond. Brian has proven that he is primarily a pull hitter.
See where Gonzalez is playing. He's a utility player now for the Astros. And when you shift like this, it does require your first baseman to be somewhat athletic. He's got to cover a lot of ground. We already saw him going far to his right on the Hicks ground ball. 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
It's funny because I watch Brian Dozier every day as well as you do, Dick, and he'll take 5 or 6 balls every day and shoot them to right side, always trying to go the other way, and then the game comes and he forgets all about that. He has the ability to really just stay back a little bit and drive the ball the other way, but he's trying to pull.
A swinging strikeout, out number 2, and that'll bring up Mauer.
McCullers goes up the ladder with a fastball here when he's ahead in the count. Dozier, who is really good at those high fastballs, for the most part, just wasn't able to catch up to that one.
First 2 men were retired last night, and then Joe Mauer doubled and tried to score on Sano's single. An out call was challenged at the plate. Outside, beg your pardon, outside corner, 0-1. Mauer with a double to the left field corner. 2 hits in the ball game last night. Now 2-1. The 4 walks that McCullers issued, again 3 in the first inning, tied a season high for him. Just 4 hits for the Twins. Eduardo Nunez hit a home run in the 6th inning to take the lead from 1-0 to 3-0. Inside corner, 2-2. And now 3-2, Sano on deck. Bauer with just 8 home runs on the season. Team increasing its home run rate. Not up there with the Astros by any means, but getting closer to that 1 home run per game rate. And Bauer takes ball 4. First walk issued tonight by McCullers. That'll get Sano to the plate with a man aboard. Sano delivered the first inning single to center field. Carlos Gomez ended up throwing out Bauer at the plate. That was the last time the Twins seriously threatened to score, losing 8-0.
Yeah, Miguel struck out his last 2 plate appearances in yesterday's game, but he seems to always get a hit a game or more.
Swinging a foul, and that stung Conger. Took the mitt off his left hand.
I asked Paul Molitor today about Sano, and I said, how bad is his hamstring? How, is it progressing? And he says, yeah. He says, I think it is, but it's really a hard read for me because Miguel will tell me that everything's fine, and yet he'll pull up on his own when he's been told and not to really push it hard. So he said it's kind of a hard read for me to know if he's going to be able to leg out a ball down the line or if he's just going to pull up and accept a base hit.
One of the concerns is, in a situation like this, an apparent single to right field, can he get to first base before the right fielder, in this case Springer, would take a shot at throwing him out at first base?
Well, that's just it. Miguel is a guy that will go to all parts of the ballpark. He'll go where the ball is pitched, so he might just shoot one out to right field, but he's got a bust down the line. Springer's got a very good arm.
Half swing, but I think he went. Strike 3. Sano strikes out. And the Twins are done in the first inning. Team in first place. They've been there most of the year, or at least had a share of the division lead for all of about 3 weeks of the season. And the Menards batting order for the Astros. George Springer back on the lineup. His first game back was last night. Then Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, Evan Gattis, Jed Lowry, Carlos Gomez, Marwin Gonzalez, Preston Tucker, and Hank Conger.
And they will be facing right-hander Ervin Santana, making his 12th start of the year in his last start. 7 shutout innings against these Astros back at Target Field. It snapped a 4-game losing streak for him. And we'll see if he can duplicate that good outing last time.
One of the things that made it impressive is it was a 1-0 ball game for most of the time Santana was out there. Breaking ball on the outside corner, 2 quick strikes to Springer.
Yeah, they really didn't give him any breather, I guess is what you would call it, until late in the game. He had a battle every inning.
1 and 2.
And the way this one started, you kind of almost sense that could happen again. McCullers a good pitcher, and Ervin pitched well, so this could be a low-scoring game itself.
Swing and a miss. Springer gone on strikes, 1 down. Santana struck out 10 in his start against the Astros, but of course they do that. They hit the ball over the fence and in the process strike out a lot. Northland Ford defense, Rosario, Buxton, Hicks, the outfield perhaps of the future for the Twins, together for the first time. Bloof, Escobar, Dozier, Mauer, the infielders, and Kurt Suzuki behind the plate. Jose Altuve will bat.
Ervin will have a very fast pace when he throws strikes, and he has a good slider, and he starts out George Springer with a swing and miss slider, which might be a good indication that he'll have that pitch working tonight.
Fastball just off the plate, ball 1.
But he gets that ball, looks in for the sign, and is ready to go.
And now a strike. Altuve had an incredible month of August, 45 hits in the month. Missing up and in, 2-1. Probably not going to win the batting title this year. Altuve is 45 points behind Miguel Cabrera. The ball lifted down the right field line, chased by Mauer, and over the first row of seats. No play for Mauer. And the count's 2-2.
Kind of crazy shadows in this ballpark. Joe Mauer running over to foul territory and the barrier between the fans and the ball field.
Same area.
Yeah, same spot, only
more direct line. Altuve had a good series at Target Field.
We'll see 8 for 19 against the Twins this year. He's one of the toughest outs in the game.
Altuve swings at a pitch 18 inches off the plate, 2 down.
2 quick strikeouts for Santana.
That's what was particularly perplexing about Santana in his slump. It wasn't just that he wasn't pitching well or deep into the ball game. Very few swings and misses. There was concern at some point through his slump that he was tipping his pitches. Wasn't getting batters to swing at that breaking ball well off the plate.
Well, we talked about it in his last start. In between starts now for a couple weeks, pitching coach Neil Allen has had a few drills with him to try to keep him on playing.
Left center field, easy catch for Buxton, and a good 1-2-3 first for Santana. strongest fan photo. Use hashtag North Data Strong Fan. You might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Trevor Plouffe will lead off the second inning for the Twins. He's got a base runner in the first on Mauer's walk. Plouffe, Rosario, and Escobar will hit in the second. Popped up, a foul ball. Fans over in that seating area getting a lot of early souvenirs. It again, wasn't too far away from where Mauer chased a couple of them. Twins have hit 127 home runs on the year. The home run rate has picked up in the second half. Of course, you add a Miguel Sano to your lineup. That's naturally going to happen. Down and away a ball. Twins have played 134 games, so 127 home runs hit. And it's not up there with the Blue Jays or the Astros among the league leaders or anything like that. The strike called 1 and 2. But it's not far off the American League Central lead. Detroit leading the American League Central with 133 home runs hit. Everybody else beneath the Twins. 2 and 2.
Trevor Plouffe has hit 18 home runs this year, but it's been a while. It's been kind of a dry spell for Trevor. He was hitting them kind of on a regular basis there in the first half, and he's kind of in a little bit of a drought.
Driven to right center field. Gomez chasing it, and with room right in front of the fence in deep right center field.
Wrong part of this ballpark. There's a lot of room between right center and left center.
Gomez with a little bit of a grin and a taunt to his former teammates in the dugout.
Right to the bullpen door.
Plouffe's last home run coming in New York on August 17th. Eddie Rosario's last home run coming 2 days ago, a grand slam in the series finale with the White Sox. One strike.
I just thought of something. I thought I'd just share this thought with you, and I know it should get a bit of a chuckle out of you. Gomez is going out there to the right field fence to catch that ball, and the bullpen door is what he landed. I thought maybe he should just go out in that bullpen and take the mound and see what he looks like when he's on the mound. Maybe he wouldn't have those antics that he has.
0 and 2. Plays with a lot of energy and enthusiasm.
Something like that.
2 strikes to Rosario. And breaking ball gets strike 3. Rosario a strikeout victim. 3 of them early on for the Colors.
It looked like Rosario was kind of caught in between, not knowing if he should swing or not. And that ball fooled him. That was not his best swing. Let's watch it again. See, he was way out in front of it. 3rd strikeout, like you mentioned, for McCullers.
And now Eduardo Escobar. The fastball zipped in the outside corner. You can understand, as you've seen just a handful of pitches, 25 of them from McCullers, why the Astros are so excited about his future. Big breaking curveball, command of that pitch. We've seen him singe the corners of the strike zone already a number of times here tonight. 6 of 7 first pitch strikes, and now 1-1 to Escobar. 2-1.
I watch Lance McCullers and I say this kid's got a very bright future for a lot of reasons. Number one, he's 21, he's already throwing this well, but you look at his mechanics and he's got a lot of things going for him. He's not, even though he throws in the mid to upper 90s, he's not a real high stress pitcher. He's got a great follow through. His energy's going towards the target. He doesn't fly open. You can see his landing spot is right where you want it to be. So he's got good mechanics, and that should really carry him a long way. I mean, as long as he's not overly stretched out and really max effort all the time, those are the things that can hurt your arm.
To the right side, easy play for Altuve. He scoops it up, and McCullers has a 1-2-3 second inning.
Before his last start against the Astros, it had been a real struggle for Santana, and so he went up to his pitching coach, Neil Allen, and said, enough is enough of this. I want to figure out what's going on. And Neil Allen told him quite simply his issue was he kept falling off too far toward first base, and that was leading to his fastballs being left up in the zone. That's where he was getting hurt. So they spent a side session putting rosin bags all over to show him where he was landing as opposed to where he should be landing. And at one point, Neil Allen went and stood right next to Santana on his left side and said, okay, throw the ball, but you can't touch me. And so that really led to Santana learning how to drive more toward home plate. Jack, we saw that in his last start, led to 7 shutout innings. Do you notice that here tonight as well?
Thanks, Jamie. Yeah, I see that. And, you know, when his command is better, it's going to be better with all his pitches. And he records his 4th straight out.
Fly ball to right. A couple of other things they did. They had Santana start his bullpen throwing from behind the mound. So as he strode forward, he was actually stepping uphill, with the idea being that once he got on top of the mound, then it would be easier for him to get, as you guys say, that downward plane. Yeah,
and you know, that's something that, well, I just personally had never had tried. I figure it's hard enough to throw downhill, let alone uphill. But I get the theory behind it for Neil, and that is the leverage aspect and trying to get your arm on top so that you can feel it a little bit better. Maybe that's just it. He just wanted him to feel that.
On the outside corner, and he gets ahead of Lowry, 0-2. You
see how he comes set in the middle, but he's getting his arm up on top. He could still probably bend his back a little bit. That might help that downward plane, but it's not near as severe as a guy like Phil Hughes, who hardly bends at all at the waist.
1-2 to Lowry. Gomez will follow. Swing and a miss on that breaking ball again. He struck out a couple of right-handed batters in the first inning, and now he gets a lefty.
Both pitchers have 3 strikeouts already through 2 innings. See the slider, and Lowry swings over the top of that ball. It gets underneath his hands.
Santana, of course, with more strike throwing, more confidence, better tempo. We've seen it all in the last couple of starts for Santana. And the ball, the first pitch grounded to Escobar across the diamond, and a quicker 1-2-3 second inning for Ervin Santana. Cleveland Indians, September 22nd through the 24th at Target Field. Tuesday features the U.S. Bank Value Pack. You can get a U.S. Bank Home Run Porch View ticket and receive a free Schweigert hot dog and Pepsi. Wednesday is Student Day, presented by Rasmussen College. Standing room tickets, just $5 for students, and they include a free ride on Metro Transit. Call 800-33-TWINS. Visit twinsbaseball.com to get tickets. Running out of time to catch ball at Target Field this year. Twins hoping to return from this road trip in at least the same position they were when they left Target Field. A game out of the wild card. Right now the margin a game and a half. The one thing that's nice, Jack, is the team directly above the Twins in the wild card standings and the team directly below, the Rangers and the Angels, are playing each other. So as I understand these things, one of them is going to lose.
And right now we're pulling for the Angels to beat Texas so that the Twins can get closer to that last wild card spot.
Twins have games left, 4 of them with the Angels. They're done with the Rangers. 1-1 to Kurt Suzuki after another first pitch strike from McCullers. Suzuki, Buxton, and Hicks in the third. Deep to left, but foul, and it's 1-2. Suzuki's gotten the batting average up to the mid 240s. All the excitement about all the rookies. Correa, Springer, not a rookie, but still a young player, young, talented players leading these two teams, and yet when push comes to shove, you expect guys like Suzuki, Gomez, players like that to get those big hits in low scoring or tight ball games. Veterans typically get those big hits when you need them. 3-2 now to Suzuki, leading off the third.
Well, Suzuki kind of the one veteran tonight with Joe Mauer in the lineup. Of course, Trevor Plouffe is getting closer to that veteran status, I would guess.
Breaking ball, and it's pushed to right. Springer's there, one away.
But Torrey Hunter not in the lineup today, and Paul was talking with me before the game about that. He said usually I'll tell players the night before that they're not going to play, but he said I really didn't know, and then this morning I thought about it, decided to go with the younger guys, and I had to tell Torrey here when he got to the ballpark, and he wasn't happy about it. And I said, would you want him to be? And he said, no, I really wouldn't.
There's Buxton. Swing and a miss, one strike. Buxton, for about a week, 10 days, looked like it was clicking for him, and he had the batting average up to 250, but now it's back down into the sub 200 range. 1-1.
That's another thing I asked Paul about was Byron Buxton. I said, is this something that you've seen from him in the past, going through a little bit of a rough start? And he said, yeah, he's had this at every level. Whenever he's been brought up, it takes him a little bit while to get adjusted to that new level.
Lowry, with Buxton making it a close play. Nevertheless, Lowry threw him out, 2 down. And that'll bring up Hicks. Well, we saw Aaron Hicks go through it. Now, in Hicks's case, it was a protracted adjustment period, if you want to call it that, that extended over 2 different seasons. The hope is it won't take Buxton that long to get to where Aaron Hicks is right now. It just looks like he's, over the course of this year, figured some things out.
Well, he's certainly more confident up there. If you remember, and we've talked about this several times, that it was last year that he just wanted to give up hitting from the left side at all.
1 strike.
And then upon further evaluation, decided that maybe that isn't such a good idea. We're kind of glad he didn't give that up, because it's such a more valuable tool. He's quicker out of the box from the left side. But he's starting to figure it out.
And he'll find himself more often than not in this projected Twins outfield of the future. Not in center field, but primarily, I would guess, in right field, and maybe some time too in left field. He did play all 3 outfield spots during his rehab assignment. 1-1. 2-1.
Yeah, there's a good probability that tomorrow Aaron Hicks will play left. Eddie Rosario will get the day off because of the left-hander Keuchel pitching, and put Torrey back in there and right.
Fouled away, 2-2.
But in the meantime, we have a game to win, right?
Everyone's important at this point. Twins at one point were 11 games above the 500 mark. Now a couple of losses have dropped them back down to 4 games above. 2-2. Called third strike, and Hicks reacts as if he thought it was inside. 7 in a row set down by Lance McCullers Jr. Brewers' timeless moment on this date, 1989. Deion Sanders, the 5th player selected overall in the '89 NFL draft, hit a home run as the Yankees beat the Mariners at the Kingdome 12-2. And then 5 days later, in his NFL debut with the Falcons, the rookie returned a punt 68 yards for a touchdown. That's not a bad week.
Yeah, it's not. I would like to see him go toe-to-toe in both baseball and basketball, or football, with Bo Jackson. That would have been more fun.
Marwin Gonzalez will lead off the 3rd inning. Our ground ball, Dozier with a nice backhanded pickup. And a fine play by Dozier for the first out of the 3rd inning.
We've seen this happen so many times with Brian Dozier going to his right and kind of a patented sliding stab at the ball, and pop-up slide is what it is. Really, it allows him to get up early and be able to make that throw over to first base. So that remains, keeps the game hitless right there with a good defensive play.
I wonder whether the pop-up slide will make a comeback when in running the bases, not fielding as Dozier uses it. But we see so many plays that have been challenged and overturned because the runner slides off the bag, and the pop-up slide, of course, is intended for the runner to pop up on the bag, ready to advance in case the throw goes into center field.
Well, I think a base runner really has to know if the throw's coming or not, and at second base is where we primarily are talking about that slide. Keep your momentum going. Ooh. Joe Mauer reacts to a ball that kind of jumps up on him.
Makes the play, 2 down. And 8 quick outs for Irvin Santana on just 24 pitches. Here's Hank Conger.
I don't know if it's going to continue, but the pace of this game is very, very quick. Both McCullers and
Now, everybody in television, except you and me.
I am not the cause of anything. I'm just stating facts.
You were the cause out there years ago, right? But we're just watching the game, and there isn't anything that we can.
And I'm not a superstitious guy in any way, shape, or form. So I believe that this could continue for 7 more innings, and we could be out of here in about a half hour.
Okay.
Glad it won't happen.
Santana missed with the first pitch, hit with the second pitch. And now with 1 strike on Conger, Plouffe will swing to the right side. Asked Conger during batting practice today whether he thought his grand slam was going out, and he said, well, you never know here. He hit it to the opposite field, thought it might hit off the scoreboard, but it just kept carrying and turned out to be the biggest swing of the bat of the game. 2-1. And now 3-1 to the number 9 batter, Springer on deck.
Well, I'm sure now that he's gone 3-1 that I'm guilty of all this. To the number 9 hitter, of course.
Right. And there's a walk, and now the pace of this game is stuck in molasses.
All right, Irvin. Come on.
George Springer will bat. He struck out on 4 pitches to start the ball game. Springer was out from July 1st till September 4th with a broken wrist, hit by a pitch. Oh my! And Altuve nearly got smoked by that foul ball.
He would have had no chance at all. That ball was by him, hit the back wall before he could even react.
You see that, and we've already seen it in Twins games about a half dozen times. Kurt Suzuki got drilled in Kansas City. 1 strike. Fouled away. Juan Encarnacion had his career ended similarly about 15 years ago when playing for the Cardinals. He was in the on-deck circle, and he got hit in the eye with a foul ball like that. 2 strikes. And as you know, Jack, I've been advocating for years that baseball simply don't do what Major League Baseball. Watch this. And it actually hit him in the carom. I didn't see that.
Do what they do in Little League.
Do what they do in Little League.
Make
Have Altuve take his bat and his weighted donut and the pine tar and all that and go stand in front of the Twins dugout. Very simple. A lot of concern, as there should be, about fan safety, and yet the players, in this case, one of the better players in the game, Altuve, standing, what would you guess, about 45 feet from home plate right now?
Yeah.
And absolutely defenseless. 2-2 to Springer. On the outside corner, Paul Schreiber with a generous strike zone tonight. Took care of Aaron Hicks in the top of the inning, and it took care of George Springer in the bottom.
Free stuff. Noon and 6, get your Gopher bag. 10 and 2, get your Goldie glasses. And to go with these great items, behind me you can get your favorite t-shirt or sweatshirt and support the Gophers all year long. Sky U Ma off of Dan Patch, State Fairgrounds, guys. Gotta love the maroon and gold.
Kevin, thank you very much for that Gopherific report.
I hope we don't have to have him go to other schools with different colors because he might not know which one to wear.
Brian Dozier to lead off the 4. And Dozier takes strike 1. Only one base runner in the game. Joe Mauer drew a 2-out walk in the first. Dozier struck out swinging. He'll be followed by Mauer and Sano.
Both pitchers with 4 strikeouts and a walk.
One and one. Really didn't get much done against McCullers. He gave up a run on the 3 first-inning walks in Minnesota and then really shut them down until the 6th when Eduardo Nunez hit a hanging curveball into the seats and left. 2-1. Foul back, 2-2. Houston looking for its 75th win of the season. They won 70 last year. The Twins won 70, and they're trying to pick up win number 70 tonight. Two of the great stories in baseball. 5-team playoff field in the American League, and who knows, it might be that 2 first-year managers, A.J. Hinch and Paul Molitor, will take their team from a 70-win season into the playoffs. And Dozier chases again, up and away, maybe a cutter, and Dozier strikes out to start the 4th.
See all those pitches on Fox tracks, primarily staying away from Brian Dozier and finally getting him out away.
And now Mauer, who drew a 2-out walk in the first.
Well, the crowd is still coming in here at Minute Maid, and it's a decent crowd tonight. We kind of expected it would be kind of a quiet crowd with the #1 sport in this crazy part of the country, football, college football being played here tonight.
Handful of games in the area. I'm told 5 games. Isn't that a handful? Yeah.
Most
that
hands.
is exactly a handful. Isn't it?
Most hands.
2-0 to Mauer. Swing and a foul. 2-1. It's the team with the best record in the American League, the Kansas City Royals, with 82 wins. They're 30 games above the 500 mark, and they've all but clinched the American League Central. Yankees lost today. They've fallen behind the Toronto Blue Jays now by a game and a half. Toronto beat Baltimore. Here's a high fly to the left field corner, chased by Tucker, and he's there to make the catch. 2 down, and that'll bring up Miguel Sano. What he's provided the Twins, Miguel Sano, in the second half of the year is something the Twins have not had in a long, long time.
You look at those numbers over the last 22 games, and that's impressive stuff. And if you could project that over the entire season, we're talking about a perennial MVP type of guy. He's just had a fantastic start to his major league career.
Fastball up and in. Swing and a miss. Sano waited on an off-speed pitch and came up empty.
Waited just a little too long.
Said his hamstring feels a little bit better today. Popped up back and out of play. Twins got some criticism overnight on national media for even playing Sano, which I didn't quite understand. Albert Pujols of the Angels right now has got a bad foot. He said he's going to play on, and he is not able to run much better than Sano is right now. We've seen Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez play with similar type of speed reducing injuries. Pitches up.
Well, the good news is the manager does not necessarily pay attention to the national media, and he knows what this guy can bring to the.
They are where they are because of Miguel Sano. Pitches up. Now it's 3-2. And you start someone in Sano's physical condition, and the whole situation just fraught with complications. What happens if he walks here with 2 outs? What chances do you have of scoring later in the inning? Here's a big fly ball to left center field, way up there. Wow. And Gomez makes the catch. It's a 1-2-3-4. Neither McCullers nor Santana has allowed a hit yet. Century Link, your link to what's next. By NorthlandFord.com and your local Northland Ford dealer. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. No score going to the bottom of the 4th. Altuve, Correa, and Gaddis will face Irvin Santana. Santana with 4 strikeouts for a 1 walk issue that came to the number 9 batter in the 3rd. Altuve sends a rocket. What a pickup by Escobar, and he throws it out.
Well, that's how you throw no-hitters. You have to have a play like that. That ball just ate up Eduardo Escobar, and he stays in there and is able to pick it. That's focus. That's the only reason he's able to keep that glove there. Altuve put a punishing on that baseball, but great job by Eduardo there. Keeps the no-hitter intact.
Remember at the start of the 3rd inning, Gonzalez swung at the first pitch and hit a smash. Dozier had to make a nice play going to his right to throw him out. So a 1 pitch out. Pitch off the plate to Carlos Correa, 1-0. Correa with a fly to center his first time up. And there's a strike. Correa didn't come up. He's only playing in his 73rd game. Sano, the ball hit up the middle. Dozier backhands, fires, and the first hit of the game goes to Correa, despite a good effort by Dozier. Cracked his bat and all that, but he hit it up the middle for an infield hit. And Correa, basically in 4 months, has put together what many people feel is a strong case to be Rookie of the Year. Sano will try to do it in 3 months, so you wonder, is that too small of a sample size? Well, the benchmark for the smallest sample size possible is going back a few years. Willie McCovey, who only played in 52 games, but he was a National League Rookie of the Year in 1959. Of course, went on to have a Hall of Fame career. But the precedent was made a long, long time ago when McCovey, with very impressive numbers, mind you, but only playing in 52 games.
Just must have been a lousy rookie crop that year, right?
Or maybe the voters imagined the great career that Stretch McCovey was going to have. At any rate, whether it's Correa, Devin Travis was the talk of baseball in the American League in the first half of the year. Sano. Baseball's entering a really exciting time when you've got guys like Trouter now considered veterans. And then
Bryce Harper. Now you've got guys like Sano and Buxton and Correa and Springer.
2-1 to Gaddis, hit into a double play last night, and now Santana delivers low. 3-1. In Twins annals, the benchmark or the best case study is 1995 when Marty Cordova won the American League Rookie of the Year in a very close vote. The ball hit through the hole to left. Gaddis has a base hit. And with one down, the Astros have something started. First and second, only one away. Marty Cordova won the Rookie of the Year in 1995 in a very close vote over Garrett Anderson. And in the minds of many, Anderson didn't win the award because he wasn't called up until late May. So that really punished a player who might otherwise, had he played the whole season, been able to be named the Rookie of the Year instead of Marty Cordova.
Well, there will always be an argument. Do they have to be there the entire year as a rookie? And I don't think that's fair.
Could be two. Dozier, backhand flip. Escobar guns it to first. Lowry grounds into an inning-ending double play. The Astros get back-to-back hits. No damage done as we head into the fifth. Scoreless. Good ball game, well pitched, well played in the field. Our Mountain Dew fans of the game, at least those people right there, hoping the Twins can even this series at a game apiece. Twins haven't scored now in 19 innings. Last time they scored a run, Rosario hit his grand slam at Target Field. Plouffe, Rosario, and Escobar here in the Twins' fifth.
Looking for the first hit of this ball game. McCullers has been tough through 4 innings.
Hardest hit ball of the night was Plouffe's liner to right center field, hauled in by Gomez at the fence in front of the bullpen. strike that covers the inside corner, 2-1. Three and 1. Rosario on deck. And it's a 5-pitch walk. Bluth will take first base. Rosario came up for the second time in the third inning with the bases loaded and hit a long home run to right center field.
Grand slam. Those were the last runs scored by the Twins. It's been a little bit of a dry spell. They finally got a leadoff man on for Trevor Plouffe. Gets on with a walk. Second walk of this game for McCullers.
And off the plate, ball 1 to Rosario. Struck out swinging his first time up. Plouffe not much of a threat to steal. And a pitch that's over the inside corner. What all the shifting has done over the last couple of years to hit and runs in situations like this. Managers will put a hit and run on to get an infielder to move and open up a hole that now with the shifts is already there.
Well, again, it's about bat control. We talked about those two words last night, but if a guy can handle a bat and shoot it the other way, hit and runs have always been, for me, about guys that go the opposite direction. I think about some of the best hit and run guys that were teammates of mine, and they were right-handers that go to the right side or left-handers that go the other way. So it really shouldn't have anything to do with shifts.
Swinging bunt, advancing Plouffe to second base, and now the Twins have a couple of shots here. If they can get their first hit to the outfield, they might score the first run of the game. Conger out for a visit. Escobar hit a grounder to Altuve his first time up.
Hit and runs were always designed from managers about guys that the manager felt could put the ball in play.
Well, fewer and fewer of those now.
And I was just going to say, by design, the game has changed with everybody swinging out of their shoes, no matter what the count is. And contact is either 429 feet to right field or it's swing and miss.
One strike to Escobar. Swing and a miss, 2 strikes. .317 at bats, 68 strikeouts for Eduardo Escobar. 0-2. And there's a strikeout on 3 pitches, 2 down. And that'll leave this hitless rally, if you will, up to Suzuki.
Breaking ball for strikeout number 6 from Lance McCullers. And even Hank Conger had to kind of reach for that ball. It had a tremendous break vertically.
Suzuki with a fly ball to right his first time up. Booth stretching out those hamstrings in case he needs them. Blocked by Conger.
I hope he needs him. I think we all need him.
Suzuki with 43 runs batted in. 1-0. And a check swing, 2-0. Interesting situation here now with the count 2-0. A base is open. There are 2 outs. And Buxton has really struggled. He's the number 9 hitter on deck. And Conger out with a word. Maybe that was part of the discussion. Suzuki with thousands more major league at bats than Buxton.
Young pitchers need to be reminded of those kind of things too, because most of them, especially with some success, believe they can get out of anybody, and they sometimes have to be reminded by a veteran catcher or pitching coach that, hey, let's take our chances with a way better option than the guy at the plate.
Breaking ball over, 2-1. So the count was 2-0, and McCullers has thrown 2 breaking balls, 1 for a strike, 1 trying to get a swing and a miss. Again, Buxton on deck. To the inside corner, full count.
And that's some courage right there and confidence with your breaking ball. You're behind 3-1, and you still throw a quality get me over breaking ball. Started on the inside part of the plate. Suzuki just fell backwards a little bit. Now Conger wants him to throw it up in the zone, whatever it is.
3 straight breaking balls before this pitch. Little tapper to short. And Correa waits and throws to first. Suzuki retired. Plouffe started the inning with a walk. Twins still without a hit through 5 against Lance McCullers.
For the Twins, for the first time all together tonight, Byron Buxton in center, Aaron Hicks out in right, and Eddie Rosario in left field. And Paul Mulder talked about it before the game. He said not a lot of balls are going to drop out there. He's excited to see the range that these guys have. And speaking of Eddie Rosario, he has proven to be so important to this Twins outfield. He recorded his 14th outfield assist on Thursday. That's almost twice as many as any other rookie outfielder, and he's actually tied for second most right now in all of baseball among outfielders with those 14 assists. So he needs 2 more to tie Kirby Puckett for the Twins rookie record. But I talked to Paul Mulder also about last night, and he did not record an outfield assist, but we saw him hold runners on. And Molitor said that, people do their homework. They try to measure the risk and reward. And Rosario has proven to be accurate enough and strong enough to hold people back and prevent guys from going first to third on him. It is not a good idea, guys, to run on Eddie Rosario.
Absolutely. Thank you. 2-2 to Gomez. I talked with Gomez during batting practice. I said, this is the first time Buxton in center, Hicks in right, Rosario in right. No more doubles or triples for you. And he says, I challenge that. Of course,
he's got to make contact first.
But it really will be fun to watch if, in fact, we do see this outfield alignment. Because he can run, he plays aggressively, he's got a strong and accurate arm. No one can run better than Buxton in center field. And Hicks is a center fielder who will adjust at times to playing the corner outfield spots. 2-2 to Gomez. Fly ball. And this won't be a double. Hicks with the catch, one away. That'll bring up Marwin Gonzalez. Weekdays, don't miss America's pregame as Mike and Molly bring you live reports from around the country for the latest from the NFL and get you ready for a full night of MLB action. Catch America's pregame every weekday at 4 p.m. Central on Fox Sports 1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. One down now, Marwin Gonzalez. Gonzalez swung at the first pitch of the third inning and hit a smash to Dozier's right. Made a nice play going into a slide, threw him out for a very quick first out. Up and away, ball one. And showing bunt, taking ball two. Santana, of course, couldn't pitch for the Twins for the first 80 games because of his suspension for PED use. He'll finish in the neighborhood or right around the 100 pitch level. 3-0. One walk for Santana, a 2-out walk in the third. Pass Lauer into right. And it's a base hit. Third hit in the last 5 at bats for the Astros. And that'll bring up Preston Tucker. So Santana not on any inning pitch limit, but the big news today in baseball, Matt Harvey informing apparently the Mets for the first time that he's considered the 180 pitch limit to be his limit all year long. Meaning that Tuesday, very likely, is going to be one of his last starts, and that 180 innings is the limit that Harvey's put on his surgically repaired elbow. And that came as quite some news to Sandy Alderson and the Mets, I guess.
Well, you already got me fired up about that earlier. And
this to left center field, and this is trouble. A hard carom to Buxton. Gonzalez to third. He's being waved around, and Escobar can't handle the throw. And the Astros get a run here in the fifth. And their second hit of the inning.
Preston Tucker able to drive that ball in the left center gap. And Buxton kind of having trouble. There's some crazy little ricochets out there with those pillars in the bullpen area, and that ball deflected a little bit away from Buxton, and that allowed Marwin Gonzalez to score from first base and put the Astros on the board for the first run of the game.
I don't think they would have had a shot at Gonzalez anyway, but that relay needs to be handled cleanly, and either the throw was short or Escobar was playing a little bit too far away. There's the ball dribbled up the line. One strike. Conger drew a walk in the third inning. 4 hits in the last 6 at bats for the Astros, and now a 1-0 lead. Still only 1 out in the inning. High pop up right side of the infield. This is about as high as Sano's was. 2 down. Sanford health injury report. Corey Kluber's going to miss a couple of starts with a hamstring injury. Scratched last night. Josh Tomlin stepped in, did a great job for the Indians. And so the Indians, who were 2.5 games behind the Twins in the standings, will have to be without their reigning Cy Young Award winner for a couple weeks.
Well,
or a week, maybe.
Twins would love to face them with Corey Kluber on the DL. Absolutely had beautiful back-to-back starts against the Twins.
One strike to Springer. He struck out twice against Santana. And now 1-1. 4 hits in the game. They're all Houston hits, and they've come in each case consecutively. 2 in the 4th. Astros didn't score, then a single backed up by a double here in the 5th. Down and away. 2-1. Tucker at second. Drove in the run with a double. And over for a strike. 2-2.
And kind of backed up a little bit. That's the hanging breaking ball, but it surprised Springer a little bit, and he took it.
Fastball down the middle. And Springer struck out for the 3rd time, but the Astros get a run on a pair of hits. They've got a 1-0 lead.
The Astros lead 1-0. Twins fans, don't forget, at Twins home games, bring your Circle Me signs, and if you get circled, you may find yourself in the Minnesota Lottery's winner's circle, where you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets, courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery.
Well, the Twins haven't gotten a hit tonight through 5 against McCullers. They haven't scored in 20 innings. Byron Buxton will lead things off. Not seen Buxton try to bunt, and I don't think anybody would take exception to Buxton trying to bunt his way aboard here, trying to create a threat. Lowry is a little bit behind the third base bag. First baseman Gonzalez is in on the edge of the grass. And inside, ball 1.
Again, I was talking with Paul Molitor before the game, and one of the subjects was Byron Buxton. And I asked him about his struggles early, and he said he's done that at almost every level that he's been brought up to the next level. And he says, Jack, I've actually gotten to the point, and he says, I don't know if it was the right thing to do or not, but he says, I've encouraged him to try to bunt at least once a game. to maybe get his focus down, and see he thought about that, or at least showed bunch in his first pitch of this half inning.
Put it in play in his third inning at bat. He hit a fairly hard ground ball to Lowry. Lowry threw across the diamond and just got Buxton by a step. That's how fast he is. Now 1-2. 2-2. And a base hit left center field. Buxton around first, digging for second. Gomez with the throw, and Buxton is in with a double. And is that fun to watch? My goodness.
You know, 99% of the baseball world would be very happy with a single that's pretty much at the center fielder. It's just to his right a little bit. But as Buxton goes down the baseline, there is no other intention for him than to get to second base. He feels like this ball's in the gap, and he can make it easily. And you can see how Carlos Gomez rushed that ball to throw it. And watch Buxton run. Just rounds first base. You can see there's no hesitation whatsoever there. Twins have their leadoff man at second base with the first hit of the game.
And now Aaron Hicks. And Hicks drops down a beautiful bunt. Safe. And Hicks nearly got hit in the ear with the throw. He gets a bunt single. Nice effort by Gonzalez, and the Twins have runners in the corners with nobody out. Of course, it's a freebie for Hicks, because even if he'd been thrown out, if the bunt wasn't as perfect as this was, he's got to sacrifice.
Well, McCullers does a great job of getting over to the ball, but throws up the baseline. And with Aaron Hicks's speed, Marwin Gonzalez has to go after the ball. Had that ball been towards the second baseman a little bit, I think Aaron Hicks might have been out. But either way, the Twins have something cooking now. Runners at the corners, nobody out.
Look at the wide open right side of the infield, and I mean wide open. The ball hit on the ground. Buxton's going to come home, and Dozier hits into a double play. Pretty well hit ball, but Buxton scores the tying run. And the shift indirectly pays off, because there were three guys on the left side of the infield. No RBI, of course.
No RBI for Brian Dozier. He hits the ball well, but again, I just don't quite understand why Brian Dozier doesn't make an effort to try to hit the ball to the right side when it was wide open there for him.
And Gonzalez, the first baseman, holding Hicks. And Altuve was swung 15 feet over to the third base side of second base. At any rate, Bauer at the plate, bases empty in a tie game. Bauer with a walk, going to fly to left. Going to fly ball to the left field corner. Hauled in by Tucker. Chop to the right side. Altuve from the outfield grass throws him out. Buxton with a leadoff double, and eventually the Twins tie it up 1 apiece. one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. By Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. And by McDonald's, have bowl for breakfast with the new chorizo burrito from McDonald's. Twins answer immediately after the Astros got a run. Twins score in the top of the sixth. Now Altuve will lead off the sixth inning for Houston, and he takes strike one. Altuve, Correa, and Gaddis facing Irvin Santana. And now fouled back 0-2. Santana went 7 innings, 7 shutout innings against the Astros last Sunday at Target Field. You add on what's happened here tonight, that's 12 innings with just 1 run allowed. And Altuve, who struck out in the first inning on a similar pitch, was able to flip that foul. Pitch count very good, as you can see, for Santana. 67 pitches thrown in 5+ innings.
Most pitches there in the 5th inning. That was the inning that the Astros scored their 1 run.
Fastball zipped in off the plate, 2-2.
That's a great pitch right there, straightening him up, and he's got him away and had him, like you mentioned, Dick, chasing that breaking ball away, and you've got to keep him honest once in a while, bring it on the inside part of the plate.
Busted his bat,
so you get results like that.
2 Hopper to Dozier, 1 away.
Good sequence of pitches right there from Santana.
Who's the only Astros player to win a Rookie of the Year award? We'll give you a little time to think about that.
Cheo Cruz.
We're going to answer it right away. Jeff Bagwell, back in 1991.
Member of the Killer Bees, along with number 7 to his left there. Craig Biggio just entering the Hall of Fame this year.
Correa with a single his last time up. Got the first hit of the ball game. Swing and a miss.
You can tell so many of these Astro hitters are looking fastball when they're swinging so hard like they do early in counts anyway. And they get that good slider from Santana. They're missing by quite a bit. Quickly now, Santana ahead in the count again. Horrible pace of the game, by the way. Just want to remind everybody that after that walk in the 3rd inning, things have really slowed down.
Just off the plate, 1 and 2.
Well, and I was just reminded that the game is still tied, so obviously there has to be some other slowdowns here.
And drilled to right field. Correa has his 2nd hit against Santana. That'll bring up Evan Gaddis. Zubas Palooza returning to Target Field. Special offer includes a reserved seat for the game on Friday, October 2nd. The Twins taking on Kansas City. And you can get your very own limited edition Minnesota Twins Zubas pants. Take advantage of this special offer, available exclusively by logging on to twinsbaseball.com/Zubas. Here's Gaddis, a fly to right and a single. Santana delivers that fastball down and away for a strike. Santana got a double play off the bat of Lowry to get out of the 4th. Down and away, 1-1. Twins hoped in early September to be about where they are, but they were counting on veterans Hughes, Nolasco, and Santana to lead an otherwise young rotation. There's a foul ball, 1-2. Hughes and Nolasco are on the disabled list. Santana didn't pitch the first half of the year, so it's Santana, Gibson, and then Twins are crossing their fingers with the rest. Tommy Malone's done well in the last couple of starts. Mike Pelfrey has not. Tyler Duffy's going to go tomorrow against Dallas Keuchel, the 3-time American League Pitcher of the Month. Be a big moment, by the way, for Duffy, who grew up in this area and went to school at Rice University about 10 minutes from here. 2-2. He's pitched here before, both in high school and in college, but now he'll be making his professional debut at Minute Maid Park. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Gaddis strikes out, 2 away. And that'll bring up Lowry. Lowry with a strikeout in the second. Hit into a double play in the fourth. Down and in. And Suzuki had to catch it awkwardly. Again, down and in.
Now those two pitches, you kind of watch Irvin Santana and his body language, and I think he recognized that he was pulling off those last two pitches a little bit too much, and out of a stretch, different feel than out of the windup. But he's got to, again, drive towards home plate. That's the drill that Jenny Hirsch was talking about, Neil Allen telling her about. You've got to be able to keep those shoulders level and have your momentum going toward the plate, not fall off of them, because he tends to yank that breaking ball in.
3-0 now with Gomez on deck. And Lowry green lighted, chopping it foul. Gomez on deck. Get great success in his career against Irvin Santana. Santana trying to come back from 3-0. Ball 4. And Gomez will have a chance here with 2 men on and 2 men out.
Pitcher's pitch right there, according to Mr. Fox Tracks. Second walk now for Santana.
Gomez with a bouncer to short and a fly ball to right.
Just observing Gomez over the years, he is not going to walk in this at bat. And there's no reason to throw him anything close because he's going to be hacking. Shocking.
Tip up high, ball 1. Gomez 7 hits, 20 at bats against Santana. No walks, 6 strikeouts. Gomez has picked it up quite a bit after a slow start with his new team. Fouled back, 0-2.
Yeah, we'd like to have that one back. And now Irvin needs to make that good slider. Keep it off the plate, down and away, and Gomez may chase.
Oops. And Suzuki was able to keep it close by, keeping Correa at second base. 1-2.
Suzuki setting up for it, but that ball just too far away, and Kurt got a little bit lazy on that one, and the ball almost squirted by him. I think it hit him in the shin protector.
1-2. Suzuki hangs on to a foul tip, and Gomez strikes out on 4 pitches. 2 men left aboard. On to the 7th, tied at 1.
7 strikeouts, got him on the breaking ball.
that last Sunday. Both starters doing a good job.
A lot of good breaking balls in this game. Irvin Santana with 7 strikeouts so far. Lance McCullers, we talked about him with his good breaking ball and high fastballs that he's been elevating. Gets a couple strikeouts. Preston Tucker gets a double to left center that scores the first run after Marwin Gonzalez scores, and Byron Buxton gets a base hit that he decides I can get a double on, gets over to second base and later scores when Brian Dozier hit into a double play. We got a 1-1 game. There's the numbers over 6 innings of baseball right there. Both pitchers pitching great ball games so far.
Sano takes an off-speed pitch over for strike 1. Sano struck out in the first, hit a towering fly ball to center for the 3rd out of the 4th inning. 0-1. And now 1-0. Sano, Plouffe, and Rosario, the middle of the Twins lineup. Chop foul. 1-2. Jack to swing. 2-2. What's not been discussed is the unlikelihood of Sano playing third base anymore this year. And that impacts the rest of the Twins lineup. If he's in the lineup as the DH, well, then there's no room for Torrey Hunter, Joe Mauer, who've been given some DH days along the way. 2-2. Call third strike. And Sano striking out for the 2nd time, this time looking to start the 7th inning. Right at the bottom of the strike zone.
Just locked him up with a really good breaking ball.
And now Plouffe. A line out to right center. On a leadoff walk. Big pop up near second base. Correa, taller than Altuve, makes the catch. 2 down. And Rosario will hit. Follow live Twins baseball every day with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected to the Twins all season with MLB.tv Game of the Day, in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, and more. You can browse the app's new features, including StatCast tracking videos and bilingual access for Spanish-speaking fans. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. 2 down here in the 7th. Rosario will bat. He has struck out swinging in the 2nd and bounced to first in the 5th. Swinging and a foul, and that stung Conger. McCullers has been very good. He was in Minnesota last Sunday. Fouled away.
Yeah, the difference in this ball game is that first inning. A week ago, or 5 days ago, I should say, McCullers had a challenging first inning with his control, and he walked a few guys. Twins scored a run. And today he's been dialed in since the beginning of the game. Twins have gotten 1 run on 2 hits.
1-2 to Rosario. 2-2. That's to left. Tucker back. Won't catch it. Hard carom. And a long carom. And Rosario will have a double. Well, Rosario driving one off the scoreboard with 2 outs here in the 7th. That'll bring up Escobar.
A lot like Fenway Park, as we watch this play here, you can see the ball shoots off the wall, which is the scoreboard here in left field, and Carlos Gomez does a great job of coming all the way from center field to play that ricochet because the ball got by Preston Tucker, and Gomez using a little bit of his head there to get some position. Otherwise, maybe Rosario would have snuck over to third.
Quick trip to the mound for Hank Conger. Escobar, the batter. Colors has gotten Escobar twice, and what we've seen over the last 3-4 weeks with Escobar playing pretty much the everyday shortstop duty for the Twins. Will Harris warming up in the Astro bullpen. What we've seen, very few offers for Escobar. In a case like this is his third time looking at trying to hit Lance McCullers. The Twins feel pretty good about Escobar's chances the third time he sees anybody right now.
Yeah, he seems to find a way to get a hit a game, at least one. The Twins could use it right now more than any other time.
Down and away, ball one. Colors getting close to 100 pitches.
Looking a little nervous out there right now. McCullers is kind of shaking his arm. I don't know if something was just tweaked there, or if he's just trying to be very, very careful in this situation.
2-0. Swing and a miss. Escobar got a pitch he wanted, but missed it. 2-1. Rosario with good speed at second base. And now breaking ball on the outside corner. Seen McCullers throughout his start Sunday and again here tonight. Great confidence in that breaking ball.
Yeah, he'll throw it in fastball counts, and he'll throw it when he's in behind in counts, and that's what has made him so successful this year.
Two and two. Full count. Suzuki on deck. The base, of course, open. Colors walk Mauer in the first, Plouffe in the fifth.
Showing a little emotion out there. He's not happy with himself right now, throwing that high fastball and kind of talking to himself. I played with a guy that talked to the baseball, Mark Fidrich. So most pitchers in the game today are really calm. They don't show much emotion. And I guess that's a good thing too, but this young man is not afraid to show a little.
3-2 to Escobar. Caught the call, third strike. Again the breaking ball. And McCullers strands Rosario at second, still tied at 1.
1 as we go to the Astros bottom of the 7th. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC. I know this song kind of fires you up, Dick, you know.
Deep in the heart of Texas. Good song. I like that.
They play this as part of the 7th inning stretch here in Houston, and of course in Dallas they've got all sorts of country music that they play.
McCullers getting congratulations in there. Another great outing for him. Marwin Gonzalez leads off the 7th against Santana, and he delivers a breaking ball. Strike 1. Bottom third of the Houston lineup. Gonzalez, Tucker, and Conger.
Well, both pitchers we talked about have pitched great games. You can see 88 pitches for Ervin Santana as he goes into the 7th inning. 8 strikeouts for Lance McCullers, 7 for Ervin Santana. All
back, 2 strikes. Twins are hoping that Santana can pitch a shutout inning here in the 7th. That would make 14 innings in back-to-back starts against the Astros with just 1 run allowed. But 3 outs to get here. Gonzalez, Tucker, and Conger. On the ground, Mauer goes to Crouch to make the play, 1 down.
Joe Mauer, being the former catcher, is not afraid to get down on a ball and keep it in front of him. A lot of guys will play that off to the side. That ball was crisply hit, but Joe just buries his chest on top of that ball, keeps it in front, and gets over to first base for the first out.
Tucker drove in the Houston run with a 1-out double to left center field. Marwin Gonzalez had just singled with 1 out. Tucker drove into the gap in left center. Off the plate, ball 1. And a strike, 1-1. Astros have rotated a lot of people through left field. Tucker getting the start there today. Rasmus was there last night, 1 and 2. Twins have to be encouraged here with Santana's outing, because what they need more than anybody else, and not just Santana, but everybody in the rotation, to pitch like Santana's pitched the last 2 games from here on out. Pulled hard and foul. You're going to give up runs. You're going to give up home runs. But you've got to have starts like this, not like the start they got last night.
No question about it. What the difference, biggest difference, and no matter who wins this ball game, is Ervin Santana has given his team a chance. And after a couple innings in last night's game, when the Astros scored another great slider, the Astros scored that grand slam on Hank Conger. The game was out of reach, and it's awful hard for a team to keep focused and stay in a game when they're trailing by that much. Let's watch this last pitch. One of the best sliders of the night. Ball really dipped down and in.
Oh, look where the pitch was located, well in off the plate. Tucker missed it by a foot. Ball 1. Conger with a walk in the 3rd and a pop-up to Dozier in the 4th.
Just another great example of guys sitting on fastballs. You don't have swings like that unless you're sitting on a fastball. I mean, he missed that by way too much.
Wolf will shift to the right side with a 1-1 count. Ball missing, and it's 2-1.
Conger was the first base runner off of Ervin Santana in the bottom of the 3rd.
Out in front, pulled it foul, 2-2. Half swing, but he went, and Santana strikes out 2 in a 1-2-3 7th inning. We are tied going to the 8th. cleaning his spikes, which is, I think, a pretty strong indication he's going to go back out there for the 8th inning.
Yeah, you don't need to clean your spikes if you're going in the locker room because they got clubhouse kids to do that. So he's pitched great so far. Hopefully he can keep it going. New pitcher for the Astros, right-hander Will Harris. No relation to my son's good buddy Will Harris.
Harris has been really, really good. Part of a really, really good bullpen for the Astros. Jake Marisnick is now in the game in left field. Very speedy player.
Yeah, good solid arm, throwing arm. A little better defender than Preston Tucker. That's why he's in the game.
Suzuki, Buxton, and Hicks. And the Twins, after Suzuki, of course, have an awful lot of speed they'd like to exploit. Harris with an opponent batting average of 156. Off the plate, ball one. Suzuki 0 for 2, a fly to right, and the bouncer to short. Twins with only 3 hits, but they got 2 of them in the 6th when they scored a run. Buxton started the inning with a double. Hicks with a very well placed bunt, got a bunt single. Twins got the run on a ground ball double play. A foul over the Houston dugout, 1-1.
As we approach the later innings of this ball game, it's more and more apparent that it could be decided by bullpens, but this is when good teams really figure out ways to grind out at bats and work the counts and try to get runners on base and move runners over, all the little things to help them win.
Up high. Got the sense, at least I did, as the Twins were playing the White Sox at Target Field, that they had a built-in advantage in the close games in the late innings. Because of that, the Twins have done those things better than the White Sox this year. Therefore, they should have the advantage in those games. The Astros have got a better record than the Twins, and now Suzuki bounces one wide of third. And the Astros are so tough at home because they've been in situations like this before in low-scoring, close ball games, and they've won most of them. They are 47-23 here at home.
And partly due to that good bullpen you mentioned, Luke Gregerson has been established as their closer out in the pen. Pat Neshek, former Twin, has really done a good job here. The guy on the mound right now, Will Harris, has really helped there.
Fields has been good. Driven hard, but foul down the line.
Kurt Suzuki has hit a couple balls hard, but just can't keep them fair.
Suzuki trying to get aboard as the leadoff man here in the 8th. Buxton, with his speed, presents a game changer in terms of a bunting threat if Suzuki can reach. Up high, now 3-2. A high fly down the left field line. Marisnick near the stands, now backpedaling further into fair territory, makes the catch, 1 down. As promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong Fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag North Data Strong Fan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Buxton drilled a double to left center field. It looked like a single, but Buxton's speed turned it into a leadoff double. That came leading off the 6th. Up high for Buxton, his 11th run scored. The Twins picture him hitting leadoff for many years to come. under the assumption that I think everybody has that eventually he'll figure it out and be a high on base guy with the likes of Sano and Rosario hitting behind him. I think you're going to be seeing Buxton at the top of the run scored chart for a lot of years. A drive to left center field again. Toward the gap. Gomez is over. Makes the catch. He ran it down with Buxton making a bid for another extra base hit.
Well, great effort right there. Carlos Gomez tracking this one all the way. He knew exactly how far he had to go. Taking away a possible extra base hit for Buxton.
And now Hicks. A bunt single his last time up, 1 for 3. Swing and a foul. Conger got that one, I think, in the glove. Up and away, 1-1. Hicks with 8 home runs on the year. And just over 250 at bats. On the outside corner. 1-2. Poke foul. Twins as a team came into the game hitting .248. Hicks as a player came in hitting .268. A measure of the improvement Paul Molitor's seen in Hicks over the course of his 3rd season up here. In the dirt, 2-2. Dozier on deck. Just off the corner. Oh, that was close. And Harris thought that he hit the corner.
Home plate umpire Paul Schreiber struck Aaron Hicks out earlier in this game in the 3rd inning on a ball that Aaron thought was off the plate in, and it might have been, but this time the ball just off the plate in the outside corner.
And Hicks thought it was ball 4. For the 2nd time tonight, he's called out on strikes by Paul Schreiber. Gomez taking an extra base hit away from Buxton, and we're still tied at 1. the bottom of the 8th inning. You see Irvin Santana ready to pitch there. This historically will ring a bell with some of you. Gene Elston, the Hall of Fame broadcaster for the Astros, has passed away today at the age of 93. Elston was part of the original broadcast team here for Houston back when they were the Colt 45s in the early 60s. And Gene, the Ford Frick Award winning broadcaster, passed away today here in Houston at the age of 93. Another voice, great baseball voice.
Yeah.
Silenced. George Springer leading off the 8th inning. Jose Altuve and Carlos Correa will follow. 1-2 now to Springer. In Santana's last start, he pitched 7 shutout innings. Now trying to get through the 8th inning here with just the 1 run allowed. He went 8 innings against the Angels back on July 23rd, 8 shutout innings. And in his Twins debut, he went 8 innings in Kansas City. Trevor May getting loose in the Twins pen. 2-2. Up high, and Springer, who's already struck out 3 times, is able to check his swing there.
Well, partly one of the reasons they sent Santana back out is because he's really done a good job against the leadoff man here. Needs to come back to get him. Got him.
He does on a breaking ball. 1 down.
10 strikeouts again now for Irvin with that strikeout in back-to-back starts against the Astros. George Springer goes down 4 times, gets Altuve. Great breaking ball there. Good to see him out there for the 8th inning. He wants to come back out and have an opportunity to win this game. He's been spot on again. He's only allowed 5 hits so far.
Altuve drives it to left center field. Buxton over right where Gomez made a catch on his play. Buxton turns in a nice running catch on Altuve.
Yeah, we got a guy like that. In fact, this guy made it look easier.
Well, that's what we're talking about, though, with this outfield of Rosario, Buxton, and Hicks. Balls like that will be caught at a much higher percentage of frequency.
Great jump, great read, and great closing speed. Those 3 things make that young outfield something to be watching for a while. Hopefully a lot of years.
Here's Correa. Singles his last 2 times up. Santana sent down 6 men in a row at the end of his outing. The presumed end. Twins will have Dozier, Mauer, and Sano up in the 9th. If Santana can finish off a scoreless 8th here, who knows? He might get the win here tonight. Swing and a miss, and the big one at that.
Correa, the only Astro hitter tonight with multiple hits off Irvin Santana. He's found ways to fight off the 1 fastball, shoot it to right. Got a base hit up the middle on a 26 hopper.
And on the outside corner, and that's what a pitching coach and a manager look for, seeing pitches like that they saw from him in the 7th inning to encourage them to send him out in the 8th. Great command. And now 2-2.
Well, even Irvin knows that this is his last inning and maybe his last hitter. You see the pitch count at 111, which is a great sign that he's got the strength to keep going. And, you know, you find a little extra there when you know it's the last guy you're going to face.
Foul.
Hopefully he can make a good pitch to Correa, who has showed us here tonight why so many Astro fans are excited about this guy in their lineup for many, many years to come.
Correa, the number 1 overall pick a couple years ago when Buxton was number 2. 2-2 from Santana to Correa. Poked over Mauer's head, down the line, a base hit, and Correa will hold up with a single because Hicks was able to close on the ball quickly. And we'll see if that makes Paul Molitor come out of the dugout here.
Well, as Evan Gattis comes to the plate, there's something that I saw of him last at bat that I think it's important to bring out. As we watch all these pitches now, Irvin Santana's pitching him away. Almost every pitch that's at bat, he's pitching him away. Why is he pitching him away? Look at the lead foot and where Evan Gattis is stepping. Every single time he's stepping out, trying to pull the ball. As a pitcher, you've got to read things like that. And when you see a guy setting up to pull, you know that he wants the ball middle half in. So you stay away because he's already lost all his lower half by stepping out of the box. The only thing he can do is use his arms only to hit the ball. And of course, this guy's strong, but you stay away and you easily take away what is his strength, and that's his power.
1-1. Half swing. No swing. 2-1. And a lob to first.
As we watch Kurt Suzuki, he's setting up away again.
The ball right down the middle of the plate.
Backed up a little bit there. He's got to be careful. And if you don't see a hitter adjust, you just got to keep going to the well. You just got to keep throwing the same pitch until he proves to you that he can adjust and make a difference.
And now down and away, and Gaddis lays off the pitch, 3-2, and that'll allow Correa to leave early from first. Mauer looking into the dugout, and he will hold Correa. Full count to Evan Gaddis. Struck him out.
Great effort.
Razor sharp innings for Irvin Santana. He comes off the mound in a tie game.
Just a great effort for Santana tonight.
Irvin Santana with 8 very good innings here tonight. Twins can hand him a win if they can score here, but that's been a problem in and of itself. The Twins have scored 1 run in the last 23 innings.
And they're going to have to do it off the closer, the ace out of the bullpen for Houston. Luke Gregerson will pitch here in the Twins half in the 9th inning.
Gregerson will face Dozier, Mauer, and Sano. Situation tie ball game, 9th inning. No more save opportunities are available for the home team. Dozier swings through strike 1. 7 wins for the closer along with 25 saves.
You've just brought up a great point, and the reason that Gregerson's in this game, it's not going to be a safe situation. There it is.
Right field, right center field. Dozier will round first and think of second. It's a leadoff single. And Mauer coming to the plate.
The reason that A.J. Hinch has got Gregerson in the game is because there won't be a save opportunity. He's their best guy in the pen. And more managers are going to use their closers in situations like this to come in and hope that they can extend the game by an inning and possibly give them an opportunity to win the game. Let's just hope the Twins can figure out one run here and maybe give Kevin Jepsen, who I think is warming up now in the Twins pen, an opportunity to save the game.
Mauer 0 for 2 with a walk. Down low, ball 1. We saw Gregerson last weekend in Minnesota. Strike. 1-1. Mauer did not face Gregerson last weekend. Dozier not going anyplace, or we wouldn't think so. Take a closer look at Gregerson's delivery, see how quick he is to home. Dozier 10 steals, 14 tries. Down low, 2-1.
This is the at bat Joe Mauer needs to really grind out, maybe get a base hit here, somehow get Dozier over to second or third base. This is where Joe Mauer's been at his best, especially here in the second half.
Dozier takes off, pitch grounded, stopped by Altuve, and he makes a fine play to take a hit away from Mauer. Altuve held his ground long enough to go to his left and take a hit away from Mauer. Dozier advances.
We can see that Correa is going to be the guy covering here in a double play situation, so Altuve does what he's supposed to do and hold his ground, and then is able to get over to his left. And as you see that picture, now Brian Dozier looks like that next to me. And you know, you just got to really appreciate the quality of those two guys, not as just ball players, but as people. They're both outstanding. Now the big man, Sano, with a chance to drive in the Twins' go-ahead run.
Sano 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Over the inside corner. It's interesting, you know, teams decide which middle infielder in the stolen base attempt. Middle infielders will decide which one you cover. And wouldn't you think that it would be the shortstop who'd hold his ground and the second baseman would cover the stolen base attempt, and Mauer pulled the ball infrequently. Nice stop by Conger. Dozier almost tried for third base. We don't see Joe pull the ball that often, and he pulled it fairly sharply, but it was the decision made to hold Altuve and not the shortstop. And you can see Dozier taking a hard step or two toward third.
He did the right thing there. He cannot get thrown out of third base here with less than 2 outs.
Not with this guy at the plate. 1-1.
Chance. One good pass with the bat in his hand.
Swing and a miss. A well spotted breaking ball down and away.
Astros have really pitched Sano well tonight, especially with breaking balls from the right-handers. And the Colors pitched him great, struck him out a couple times.
1-2 to Miguel Sano. What a stop by Conger. Twice in this at bat he's kept Dozier from advancing to third. This one was a very good stop.
Well, it's a great stop because he shifts down, gets that glove out and his chest out over the ball, keeps it in front. That ball goes to a side or behind him. Of course, Dozier's quick enough to get over to third base. And a fly ball to the outfield might score him.
2-2 to Sano. Struck him out.
Well, they weren't going to throw him anything but a breaking ball there. And Sano tried to lift and separate. Good location on this breaking ball from Gregerson. You can see Conger setting up outside.
Gregerson started toward his dugout. I don't know if that's what he does after a strikeout or whether he thought that was a third out. 2 down, and now Plouffe. Trevor 0 for 2 with a walk.
Right now they've got Trevor shaded a little bit to pull. First baseman Marwin Gonzalez is well off the line. Trevor's been known to shoot the ball down that right field corner. Whoa, not gonna this time.
Smoked in the ribs maybe, and Plouffe will fill first base. Plouffe will go to first, and it'll be left to Rosario. Rosario got a pitch away from him. He just flicked his wrists at it and crashed a double off the fence and left. That was in his last at bat. It came with 2 outs in the 7th. Rosario faced Gregerson last weekend and struck out. On the outside corner. Biggest hit of the game for the Twins so far came from a rookie. Buxton's leadoff double in the 6th. He eventually scored the only run of the game so far. The Twins are hoping for an even bigger hit from another rookie. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Rosario's been really vulnerable to those breaking balls down and in the dirt. Would imagine May if the Twins don't take the lead. Jepson if they do.
Well, they're probably going to throw Rosario another breaking ball, an off-speed, slow breaking ball, see if he's going to be over-anxious and be out in front. Again, you recognize things as a pitcher, and you've got to stay with it until the hitter adjusts.
0-2 to Rosario. Pulled foul. The breaking ball down and in, and Rosario put the barrel of the bat on. There wasn't any other place he could hit that pitch other than where he did.
No, you're absolutely right.
Well, I shouldn't say that because we've seen Rosario hit some unique pitches in some unique spots. Another 0-2. With foul. More off-speed stuff.
Yeah, it's not the time for a pitcher to get tricky and try to fool them. Every time you think you're going to fool somebody is when line drives off the wall happen. So you've got to go with your best pitch, and for Gregerson, that's his breaking ball. He can change speeds with that breaking ball. And Eddie's just got to understand that. Now, with all that being said, don't despise his throws a fastball here.
Hit hard, but foul. Another breaking ball down and in. And Conger will hand deliver a new baseball. So as a hitter, you're standing there, and it's one spinner after another. And in the back of your mind, you've got to be ready to react to the fastball in the event you get it, right?
Absolutely, and that's the toughest part about hitting, is to really protecting the plate with 2 strikes. You got to be able to hit that fastball that's in the zone and yet adjust to the other stuff. But when you know a guy's primarily going to throw one pitch, he rarely makes adjustments to that.
One breaking ball after another. Still 0-2 to Rosario. Drifted to right field down the line. Springer with a long run, and he taps the play. And 2 runs will score. Rosario around second, on his way to third, and the Twins take a 3-1 lead. Springer got there, but he didn't squeeze it. And Rosario delivers with 2 outs in the 9th.
Just a great effort by George Springer there, and that puts Irvin Santana in a chance to win this game with a little bit of a break. That ball down around the ankles. You can see where Connor's wanting the pitch, and that's where Gregerson throws it. And then Springer goes hard to his left. And again, the reason he drops this ball is because his head's bouncing as he's running. It's a hard thing to do, to keep that head steady, but it hits off the heel of his glove, and the Twins score 2.
And I think Rosario just proved my point when I corrected myself. That pitch was down and in. How do you keep a pitch like that, provided you make contact at all? How do you keep it fair?
There's a reason you and I are in the booth, and there's a reason that guy's on third base.
There are a lot of reasons I'm in the booth.
If it was easy, everybody would do it. That's what separates, and that's why guys are big leaguers. Trust me.
A 2-run triple. And now Escobar trying to get Rosario in. Off the plate. And now a strike. Rosario with 2 runs batted in. He's got 39 on the year. Fouled off one breaking ball after another. Now Escobar takes strike 2.
And it's funny, but now Gregerson's throwing fastballs. He wouldn't throw one to Rosario, but to Escobar he's painted that outside corner.
And Escobar fouls one back. Dozier started the inning with a leadoff single. The Twins started the runner at an opportune time. Mauer hit a hard ground ball to Altuve. It could have been a double play. But Dozier got to second, eventually scoring on Rosario's triple. Tapped up the right side. And Gonzalez to the bag. Ends the inning. But Rosario gets a 2-run triple to put the Twins up 3-1. and Miguel Sano have gotten big hits. Buxton with a double and a run scored in the 6th, and Eddie Rosario with a 2-run triple in the 9th off the glove of George Springer. And now veteran reliever Kevin Jepson will come in to try to pick up yet another save for the Twins. 5 for 5 for the Twins. He also got 5 saves for the Rays. And as Paul Molitor put it yesterday when asked of Jepson's value to the team, turned the question around to where would we be without him. Glenn Perkins is back in Minnesota. His back isn't getting much better. And so till further notice, Kevin Jepson's the Twins closer.
Well, he's done a great job. He had a rough game like we talked about yesterday. Rough game his first game as a Twin, but since then he has really been outstanding, and he's been put in the closer's role. And there's no telling, no real guarantee that Glenn Perkins will pitch again this year. And it's up to, well, I mean, I don't know what it's up to, but Glenn's got to make sure that that back is ready to pitch before he's going to be given a chance. And if it's extended for a while, he's going to need some innings. So right now, Jepson is asked to win a game and give Irvin Santana a chance to pick up his 4th win, which I think we can agree that he deserves after his outing today.
11 strikeouts after 10 strikeouts against the Astros. Now, asterisk, of course, the Astros strike out a lot. Here's Lowry, Gomez, and Gonzalez to face Jepson. And a first pitch fastball for a strike.
I thought you brought up a great point, though. We all know that Irvin Santana is not going to be eligible for postseason, so his only role right now is to help pitch the Twins into that position and hopefully show somebody else to follow the leader, because the Twins are going to need somebody else to step up.
That's hit well to left field.
That's a run.
And Lowry has cut the lead in half with his 7th home run. Just lifting it into the Crawford box seats. And it's 3-2.
We talk again about how this Astro team hunts fastballs and is such a great fastball hitting ball club. And he got one out over the plate there and just flipped it. He didn't try to overswing. That ball actually was a breaking ball down and away. And not a bad location, but a great swing from Lowry.
Gomez tries to bunt his way aboard. Strike 1.
Well, Gomez again doing the Twins a favor there. Can't hit a home run. Can't get a run by trying to bunt. Now I know he's just trying to get on base and set the table for Gonzalez. And Marisnik probably hitting Tucker's spot.
One strike. Jepson to Gomez. To right field. Hicks lost it at the last instant and picked it right off his chin. Wow. A bullet to right, and Hicks was there and it nearly hit him between the eyes. 1 down.
Clearly got that ball in the lights. Good swing, inside out swing, and Aaron Hicks charges in and then loses it.
One thing when you lose it and you're pursuing it, but when it's hit right at your noggin and you can't find it. 1 down. Now Marwin Gonzalez. Gonzalez singled and scored in the 5th. Colby Rasmus in the on-deck circle. He apparently is going to hit for Marisnik. Strike call. Gonzalez goes for a stroll. Off the plate, 1-1. And Marisnik, or Gonzalez rather, having an exchange with Paul Schreiber, who I'm sure didn't appreciate the stroll that Gonzalez took after the called first strike. 1-1. And a base hit to center, and the tying runs aboard. Big turn by Gonzalez. He has his second hit, and now Rasmus will hit. Tomorrow, Tyler Duffy's homecoming. Houston native will start for the Twins here against Dallas Keuchel, who once again in August was named the American League Pitcher of the Month.
It's almost a David and Goliath type of thing, except that there will be a lot of emotion from that young man right there. Tyler Duffy has to be excited about his opportunity to come home in front of family and friends here, where he went to college just down the street at Rice.
Meanwhile, Jepson's given up maybe the 3 hardest hit balls in sequence in his Twins tenure. A home run, a liner to right, and a sharp ground ball. VR, the pinch runner at first.
Well, Colby Rasmus, another one of the hitters here in this lineup that is pretty much a dead red fastball hitter, and he has trouble with the off-speed breaking balls.
Up and away, ball 1.
Unfortunately, Jepson really doesn't have an off-speed breaking ball. He's got an over-the-top curveball and his fastball. So
VR 4 for 6 in stolen base attempts. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball.
You just got to throw him a steady diet of that and take his chances.
The heat is on Jepson. Given a 2-run lead to protect. Lowry's homered. Gomez lined out. VR singled. Or excuse me, Gonzalez singled. VR pinch running him. And now 1-2.
Last night, fastball inner half the plate. Rasmus crushed that ball upper deck right field.
Rasmus has 361 at bats and 130 strikeouts. One and two. Runner goes down and in. It's a stolen base, and the tying run is in scoring position.
Great pitch to run on there, and you could almost suspect, and I think that's why A.J. Hinch put on the run there, is that he knew that he was going to throw him a breaking ball, and Lear got a great jump.
Jepson in search of a strikeout. Conger on deck. 2-2. Another nice stop by Suzuki on a breaking ball down and in, and now the count's full. Rasmus has seen a lot of breaking balls from Jepson. Remember what happened to Rosario? Kept getting one breaking ball after another, and finally he pulled one down the line fair. Check swing, ball 4. And now the winning run is on, and Conger will come to the plate. Meeting on the mound here. Here comes Neil Allen, and everybody in the infield will come to the mound. Conger, a switch hitter, a much better hitter from the left side of the plate, and it was from the left side of the plate that he lifted one into the Crawford box seat for a grand slam last night. Pitch was pretty much center cut.
Yeah, you have the inside out swing, just put a real nice pass on it. The Twins just need him to hit a ball on the ground. He doesn't run all that well. If he can get something hit sharply at one of the infielders, they have a good chance to get out of this game and win this game with a double play.
He's grounded into a double play 5 times today. 0 for 2 with a walk, a pop-up, and a strikeout. Conger out in front, strike one.
That wasn't a base hit swing.
I don't think they teach that here.
No.
Oh, and 1 to Conger. Conger 0 for 2 against Jepson. Down and away, 1 and 1. If you can retire Conger, Springer is in the on-deck circle, and he's 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. Inside, and Suzuki has to sprawl to keep it from going to the backstop. 2 and 1. Now 2 and 2. That was a big pitch. If it goes 3-1, Jepson, who admittedly had bouts of control issues in his career, would be in a tough spot. Now it's 2 and 2. Conger with 51 strikeouts and 52 strikeouts and 166 at bats. Struck him out with high cheese. 2 down.
What a huge out right there. Climbing the ladder with the fastball up. See, Suzuki's looking down and away. That ball had, at least Suzuki had no intention of throwing the ball up there, but it worked.
Now another meeting on the mound here. Suzuki, Jepson, and the first baseman Mauer. Springer is 0 for 4. He struck out 4 times, twice swinging, twice looking.
And it was Springer's misplayed ball or drop ball or valiant effort that wasn't meant to be that allowed the Twins to score to lead off the top of the 9th inning. And now he gets a chance to redeem himself.
Up high, ball 1. Since his single in his first at bat last night, since being on the disabled list for about 9 weeks, Springer is 0 for 8 with 7 strikeouts. One and 0. Popped up, foul, and out of play. 1 and 1. One and 1 to Springer. Two and 1.
This is the guy you want. For all the reasons you said, he's swung and missed a lot here in the last couple days, and you just don't want to pitch to the smallest strike zone in baseball with Altuve on deck when you have a guy that's struggled with his command the way Jepson has at times.
Fouled back, 2 and 2. There on the top step. Many of you at home are chewing your nails. Welcome to September baseball. Oh, a foul ball that got a piece of Suzuki's mitt. The at-bat and game still very much alive.
Well, Jepson has the pitch that could lock up Springer right here. He's got a very good breaking ball if he can keep it down and throw it freely, not try to overthrow it.
2-2. Full count. Runners will leave early. Worst possible situation for Jepson. Villar's got speed at second. There's speed at first. And a full house standing here at Minute Maid Park. And you're loaded up for Altuve. Jepson gave up the home run, a single, but 2 walks have filled the bases.
Let's look at that last pitch. Oh, man.
Bases loaded, 2 down. Altuve will hit for the Astros. Altuve made the last out in the series opener Friday night at Target Field. And Jepson will try to get him here. Hitless tonight. Robbed of a hit by Escobar. Back in the 4th inning. With the catch, sprawling in center field to end the game. An absolute missile to center field, ending the game.
Wow, what a game.
Jepson can smile, and underneath the mask, so can Kurt Suzuki. And the Twins, by the slimmest of margins, even the series at a game apiece.
That's just fun to watch. Watch this here again. Altuve just crushes this ball right down Broadway, and Byron Buxton reacts to it, knows he's got to come in, and what a way to end the game.
Wow. And the Twins survive a 9th inning scare, and they beat the Astros at Minute Maid Park. Tom Hanneman, as I said a few minutes ago, welcome to September baseball. Let's hope we got quite a few more like the one here tonight.